If you have ever walked away from a conversation or even an argument and felt hurt, felt upset that you haven't been heard, maybe you've been on the other end and you've been accused of not actually listening to what the other person says, it's a real good sign that there is I suppose there's a broken link in the communication process. Somebody is up here talking and the other person's over here listening, or maybe it's the other way around. And you can't figure out how to bridge that gap. What do you need to do so that you can come together, so that you can both feel like you are being heard and that you are actually communicating in a way that's meeting each other's needs? One of the great ways to do this is to actually start to look at the underlying message of what's being said. And sometimes that's more about feelings. Quite often it's about feelings, but it's about having the presence to actually ask the right questions. So maybe you've come home and your partner's been at home all day with the kids, they've had a rough day, and they start telling you about how bad their day is and how naughty the kids were. And instead of saying, problem solving the actual issue, maybe it's the frustration, maybe it's exhaustion, maybe it's the tension that's been going on all day, and they themselves need some time to decompress, or they just want an acknowledgement that it was a pretty crap day, and that's okay. But if you can't understand the feelings that are being communicated at that particular point in time, then maybe you ask the question, you know when you're telling me this, is this something that you want me to give you an answer to? Is it something that you would like to talk more about? How did that actually make you feel when that happened? What are you feeling now? Because when we can get to the underlying feelings of the message, that's when the magic in the communication happens. Because that's when we can find out whether, our partner, our spouse, our colleague, our friend, whether they're feeling unappreciated, whether they're feeling exhausted, whether they're just feeling hurt and upset, whether they just want to vent. Communication doesn't always have to be about problem solving. Sometimes it's just a way for people to let it all out, and then they can pick up the pieces and move on themselves. They don't need an actual answer. And if you're in a situation where you just don't know what you're supposed to do, then ask the question, how do you want me to respond to that? That sounds like a pretty, crappy thing that you had to go through, or that sounds really frustrating. Did you want to talk about it more, or what would you like to do? So next time you're in that situation, give it a go. See what happens for you. Bye.